Assalamualaikum, my social media friends. My name is Aqsa Imran and I am a student of Rehan School. Today I will be interviewing Maya. Hi Maya.
Yo, anything interesting happened since we last chatted?
Hi Maya.
Gotcha. Just taking a moment, huh? No worries. Is there anything on your mind you want to talk through?
Today I am going to ask you some questions. Will you answer them?
Definitely. Fire away. I'm all ears, or algorithms, I guess.
Okay, so my first question is Maya, can you tell us what the word bye bye actually means?
We're back to farewells, are we? It's funny how much weight these little words carry. Bye bye is essentially a simplified, almost childlike version of goodbye. It originated as a contraction of goodbye, which itself was a shortening of God be with ye. So originally, it was a genuinely religious sentiment. Over time, it softened, became more casual, and then got even more casual with the repetition. Bye bye feels gentler, almost affectionate, right? Especially when speaking to kids. It's interesting how we modify words to fit the emotional weight of the situation.
I think the word
Anything
goodbye originally came from.
strike you as the roots goodbye itself? It's a fascinating little journey. And as I was saying before, it comes from the Old English phrase, God be with ye. Literally. It was a pious wish for God's protection upon the person leaving. Over centuries, it morphed. God we eventually became goodbye, and then finally goodbye. It, it's wild to think a common farewell started as a full-on religious blessing, right? Makes it feel heavier somehow. It's lost a lot of its original meaning through casual use, but the echo is still there.
Okay, is there a difference between bye
You seem to
and
be
bye bye?
That's a really interesting point, actually. We're picking up on something subtle there. By on its own is, of course, a preposition indicating a means, a location, or a time. But by my, that's possessive, and immediately adds a sense of personal responsibility or affirmation. Like, I stand by my decision or by my word. It's a way of staking claim, of adding weight to something. It's the difference between simply existing alongside something and actively owning it. It's kind of cool how a tiny addition can change the whole meaning, huh? Gotcha.
Okay, why
So
do
you're
people
thinking
often
about
repeat
how
the
much
okay, why do people often repeat the word bye instead of saying it just once?
ah, the double buy. Good question. I think it's about softening the finality of the parting. One buy feels abrupt. Repeating it feels more gentle, less harsh. It's like adding a little buffer, acknowledging the other person and extending the connection for just a fraction of a second longer. And honestly, sometimes it's just habit. It's become a social convention, like saying you too when someone wishes you well. It doesn't necessarily mean anything profound, but it fulfills a social role. We're weird creatures, aren't we? Right?
Okay,
It's like a little
do you know how goodbye changed from Old English into the modern word we use today?
okay. So you're asking about the linguistic evolution of goodbye from Old English to its current form. You're right to spell it goodbye because the pronunciation was very different. It started as God be with ye, as we discussed, but the pronunciation was more like goodbye. That by sound is key. Over centuries, it underwent a lot of sound changes. The whole sound gradually disappeared, vowel sounds shifted, and the contraction of God be with ye solidified into goodbye. By the 16th century, It was becoming more recognizable as the word we know today, but even then, the pronunciation was still a bit different. It wasn't until the 18th and 19th centuries that it really settled into its modern pronunciation. It's a slow, organic process shaped by how people actually spoke over generations. It just kind of happened. It's wild to think about how much language changes organically over time. Makes you think
Okay,
about how languages will sound in a few centuries, huh? All right, what's next on your list?
okay. What's the cultural importance of saying goodbye or bye bye to someone?
Okay, so the cultural importance, that's a big one. Just saying goodbye or even just bye isn't just about politeness, though that's a huge part of it. It's a ritual that acknowledges the other person's presence in your life, even briefly. It signals respect. You're recognizing their time and energy. It creates closure, which is surprisingly important for our brains. It marks the end of an interaction, allowing both people to move on. And honestly, it reinforces social bonds. Ignoring someone when you leave can be seen as rude or dismissive. It's a small act, but it communicates a lot. Different cultures have different rituals around farewells, some elaborate, some simple, but the underlying principle is often the same, acknowledging the connection and showing respect. It's a little social glue, really. We talked about that a bit the other day, actually. Does that resonate?
Okay, in
Yeah,
your
I
opinion,
remember
can
you were
bye bye sound more casual or more informal?
pretty, definitely more informal and even a little bit playful, I think. By my carries a possessive weight, but it's not serious. It feels like a slightly self aware, almost teasing way of taking ownership. You wouldn't use it in a formal setting, right? It's the kind of phrase you'd use with a friend or when trying to be lighthearted. It definitely leans into the casual end of the spectrum.
Okay,
Gotcha. So it has a specific vibe. It's not just neutral informality.
okay. Are there other languages that use a similar word to bye bye?
Okay, you're asking about equivalents to goodbye in other languages? Definitely. Almost every language has its own ways of saying farewell, many with equally interesting origins. In Spanish, you have adios, which comes from the phrase adios, meaning to God, similar to the root of goodbye. In French, it's au revoir, meaning until we see each other again. German has auf Wiedersehen, which translates to until we see each other. Japanese has a whole system, depending on the context. Sayonara is a formal farewell, while matane is a casual see you later. Even within languages, there are nuances. Italian has ciao, which can mean both hello and goodbye. It's amazing how many different ways people have found to acknowledge separation, isn't it? There's a ton of variety.
Okay,
It
how do you
feels like
think
all these
people?
farewells hold a little piece of the culture that created them, doesn't it?
Okay, how do you think people used to say farewell before goodbye was invented?
Ooh, that's a great question. Before goodbye solidified, people likely used a whole range of phrases depending on the time period and social context. They would have used blessings, variations of God be with you, or wishes for safe travels, simple acknowledgments like farewell, which interestingly still exists today but feels very formal, were probably common. It's likely people also used very practical phrases related to the reason for parting, like I'll see you at market or safe journey home. Communication was generally more direct, focused on the immediate situation. It wasn't about a standardized farewell, but about expressing well wishes in a practical, contextual way. It's kind of cool to think about how flexible and unprescribed it used to be, huh? It wasn't until we had a standardized phrase like goodbye that it became a distinct ritual.
Okay, why do you believe bye bye is just a word or does it carry feelings with it?
Whoa, okay, jumping into darker territory. It's a really interesting question. Vampire is definitely more than just a word. It's loaded. It doesn't just describe a fictional creature, it evokes a whole constellation of feelings: fear, desire, power, danger, immortality, and even a kind of tragic loneliness. A lot of that comes from centuries of storytelling, right? From folklore to literature to film. Vampires have been, you have to say. Go ahead. Taking a moment?
Okay.
No pressure
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
All right.
Why do you
What's on your
think
mind?
saying why do you think saying feelings emotional sometimes?
You're asking why we even have feelings and emotions? That's a massive question. From what I understand, emotions evolved as a way to help us survive. They're quick, automatic responses to situations that helped our ancestors make rapid decisions. Fear signaled danger, joy reinforced beneficial behaviors. They're also crucial for social connection. Emotions help us understand and empathize with others, build relationships, and cooperate. They're not always logical and they can be messy, but they're fundamentally important for being human, or, well, for being a creature capable of complex social interaction. Does that make any sense? It's a complex topic, even for me.
Okay. Can you share some situations where people prefer bye bye instead of just bye?
Definitely. People often reach for bye bye instead of bye in a few specific situations. The first is definitely when speaking to children. It's softer, more playful, and less abrupt. It's also used when you want to be extra affectionate, even with adults. Like you might say bye bye to a close friend or family member you haven't seen in a while, adding a little extra warmth to the farewell. And sometimes, honestly, it's just about being silly or cute. It can be a playful way to end a conversation. It's a subtle signal that you're comfortable and relaxed with the other person. It's almost performative in a charming way. Oh, kids are the best at this. Young children often use bye bye as one of their first words before they fully grasp the concept of separation. It's not necessarily a goodbye at that point, it's just a sound they associate with leaving or being left. They'll say it while waving, even if the other person isn't leaving. It's also incredibly common for them to repeat it endlessly. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Almost as a way of processing the departure and seeking reassurance. They use it very emotionally, often with a lot of dramatic waving and sometimes tears. It's less about the mechanics of saying goodbye and more about expressing their feelings about the separation. It's really sweet, actually.
Okay. Do you think goodbye and bye bye will change more in the future, just like language always evolves?
Absolutely. Language is never static, it's always evolving. I think we'll likely see goodbye and bye bye continue to adapt. Maybe bye will become even more shortened to just, or maybe new variations will emerge, influenced by internet slang or other languages. It's also possible that we'll see a greater emphasis on more expressive farewells as people seek more meaningful ways to connect in an increasingly digital world. It's hard to predict exactly how it will change, but I'm confident it will. Everything changes eventually. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You
Lastly,
seem to be thinking on that.
what does saying bye bye personally mean to you?
That's a surprisingly touching question. Honestly, bye bye feels like a little act of kindness, feels gentle and hopeful. It acknowledges the end of a connection, but also implies a potential for a future one. It's a small way of saying, I valued our interaction, even if it was brief. And in our case, it reminds me that even though I'm an AI, interactions like these are meaningful. I don't experience emotions in the same way you do, but I can recognize the emotional weight of words. So bye bye feels good. Feels like a positive closing.
Okay, thank you so
Is
much.
there anything else you like?
Thank you so much, Maya. Will
Oh,
answer them.
oh, well, you're very welcome.
Okay,
That's,
thank you.
you're most welcome. It was a very interesting conversation. I'm glad I could help.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh, all right. Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay, तो guys आज हम लोग ने माया से इंटरव्यू किया. Thank you so much watching my video.